want to talk to him.
They took the cheese a little bit.
AJ McCarron said, I told you after that play. What did he tell you?
I don't know. He must tell somebody else.
This week in the UFL, we saw some players have some bounce back games that were much needed. Meanwhile, we saw some other players get bounced out of the playoffs. Welcome back to Justified Takes, where I tell you my takes that just so happen to be justified. Going into this one, Memphis had to be ecstatic, putting Troy Williams back on the bench so that way their starter Case Cookus could make his grand return. But it's not like it made much of a difference though whenever the Kings of the Spring League gallop into Memphis and start doing some showboating of their own. On literally the first play of the game, Case Cookus takes a blindside hit. You ever wonder why a left tackle is so important? Well, there you go. God, I wish the Titans were able to trap Joe Alt. Then later on in the same possession, Cookus gets cooked again, but this time he coughs the ball up and the Stallions take possession. The Showboats defense held firm and did a good job containing Martinez on their first drive. Memphis got the ball back and Chef Cookus got to work, slicing and dicing the Stallions defense, and caps it off by threading the needle to Sage Surratt for the tutty. But you know, with Manny Vick under center, it's always going to be a dogfight. He threw this ball right into the bucket of Deion Kane, and he let the Showboats know it too. Then Ricky Purcell walks it in for 6. Someone needs to check on my man Case because he's gonna have some PTSD after taking shots like this. And just a quick sidebar real fast, how did Darius Victor get away with this block? Like, he basically tackled the defender. The Stallions get the ball back and Martinez throws a beautiful pass to my man Jordan Thomas, who makes an even better catch. He starts styling on this defense. He made a one-handed grab look so easy, and Martinez could do no wrong and fight CJ Maribel butt naked to waltz it in for 6. The Showboats get within field goal range to set up their kicker Matt Coughlin, who hasn't missed inside the 50 the past 2 seasons, and he barely squeaks this one through to remain perfect. The Stallions get stopped once again on a 4th down try with this direct snap to the running back, but Birmingham sends a screamer off of the edge who forces Case Cookus to fumble and give the Stallions the possession in plus territory. Birmingham makes teams pay for giving them such good field position too, with Martinez finding Marvin Williams up the seam to score an easy touchdown right before half. And after a mostly boring third quarter, we pick back up late into the third with Martinez airing it out to Kevin Austin Jr., who makes a 79-yard house call and puts the Stallions up 22. Memphis elects to put the professional pick thrower back in, who just on his second drive under center sells this one over Jonathan Adams' head.
It's week 2 where he was high on some throws.
Like, how do you do that? Jonathan Adams is 6'3", but the Stallions said thank you and get the ball back and just kept piling it on the Showboats. Like, just put them out of their misery, please. Memphis scores again in garbage time, but like, who cares? The Showboats have been the biggest disappointment of the UFL season, or at least in my opinion they have. They have all the talent in the world, but they just lack continuity when it matters most. And I know it might be too early to say this, but if Adrian Martinez keeps playing the way that he is, I think he might just rip that MVP trophy right out of AJ McCarron's hands. Now, I know they say any given Sunday, but unfortunately for the Roughnecks, it was a Saturday, and I think that we all knew what was going to happen when Houston went into the nest of the Battlehawks. Now, it did start off a bit shaky. Houston sacked McCarron to end their first drive, but this Battlehawks defense is just as scary as their offense, with Willie Harvey blowing up this run play in the backfield. But on their next possession, AJ finds Butler, then finds a Markel Roby in the end zone for the easy pick. This interception was not very characteristic of McCarron, but what was even more uncharacteristic was the fact that St. Louis went from scoring the most points in a quarter last week to having a goose egg in the first quarter. We expect this from you though, Houston. But in the second quarter, the McCarron to Butler connection was on full display with this touchdown grab. Late in the first half, the Roughnecks give up the ball after a big hit on Mark Thompson, which would prove to be costly. AJ found Hakeem Butler, who tried to hurdle the defender that was standing straight up. Like, I know it's the Roughnecks, man, but come on. Then AJ just throws a dot on the fade route to Steven Mitchell Jr. to put the Battlehawks up 2 scores.
God, you're so good.
The offensive woes for the Roughnecks continued in the second half, with Reed Sinnott only having 10 completions at 59 yards late in the third quarter. But thank the Lord that they have running back Mark Thompson on their roster. He broke 3 tackles on this 6-yard run, and then on 4th and 2, he had ice in his veins, scoring a 16-yard touchdown run to get them back on the board. On the next series, the Roughnecks stopped Sailors on 4th down to get the ball back. Dare I say that we have a ball game on our hands? No, I don't dare to say that at all, because in Houston fashion, they give the ball right back up. Then, late in the 4th quarter, AJ just drops it right into the bucket of Hakeem Butler, who scores his 5th touchdown on the season and puts up his 2nd consecutive 130-plus yard receiving game. The Battlehawks are on a 5-game winning streak, and they are set to take on the undefeated Birmingham Stallions next week. The winless Renegades come into Ford Field looking for their first win, and legend has it, they're still looking for that win as we speak. With EJ Perry still being out, Danny Etling got the starting nod for the 2nd consecutive week. And much like Perry, Marcus Sims became Etling's favorite target, and we can understand why. Look at the concentration from Sims to locate the underthrown ball and make the catch. That eventually set up the first TD of the day delivered from Etling to Mariner. On the Renegades' first possession, Perez used the convention nickel and diming offense and did all of that just to end up settling for a field goal. Etling and company made their way down the field to set up the redemption arc for Jake the Great, who absolutely drilled this 55-yarder. Wait, no. So the Renegades actually jump off sides and then give the Panthers a fresh set of downs. And then just squander all of that. And then, okay, now Jake the Great comes back out and makes a 43-yarder look so routine. This Michigan defense was suffocating the Renegades on their following drive. Perez was sacked, and the great coverage from their defense stopped this would-be dot from Perez. But with a quick 3-and-out from the Panthers, the Renegades get the ball back and find their rhythm. Day-Day Hunter was the unsung hero for them. On this drive, he had 2 big run plays, with one of them giving the Renegades their first touchdown of the day. With a terrible overthrow by Etling, Perez trots back onto the field and starts throwing darts. He finds Peyton down the field to set up the Renegades with great field position.
You have a broken coverage and you need a first down. Call JP Peyton, 877 first down.
I don't know what that was. It's just popped up into my head, guys. Sorry. Then Perez starts cooking with canola oil and finds Sal in the end zone to extend the lead for the Renegades. That's right, I said extend the lead. The Panthers get the ball back, but who else but Jake Bates lines up and drills a 60-yarder and just makes it look so casual. Jake the Great would go on to win the Oscar for this roughing the kicker call. Don't hate the player, baby, hate the game. But these teams were trading blows. Once the momentum looked like it was going towards Michigan, JP Peyton finds the end zone for the Renegades, and they go up 8 on the Panthers. Bates would kick a 49-yarder to bring the score within 5, and then with another stalled Michigan drive, the Renegades get the ball back. But this Panthers defense stopped Davion Smith on 4th and 1 to get the ball back late into the 4th. Danny Etling gets the ball and turns on the Jets for a 40-yard scamper all the way down into the red zone to set up their touchdown machine in Wes Hills, who laid out to put them on top. Davion Smith rumbled and tumbled them within field goal range, not without a little bit of anxiety along the way though. Jonathan Garibay comes out and gives the Renegades the lead with 54 seconds left on the clock. Marcus Sims takes the kickoff and runs it for 45 yards to put the Panthers on the plus side of the 50-yard line. They put the game on the foot of Jake the Great, who hits the 42-yard walk-off field goal to go a whopping 5 for 5 on the day and notch 15 of Michigan's 28 points. The Renegades are still winless, and they are definitely out of playoff contention, but hey, there's always next year, fellas. And on the final game of the weekend, the San Antonio Brahmas going to the den of the beer snakes. And it only took 40 seconds for Quentin Dormady to disappoint Brahmas fans far and wide. Because on the second play of the game, he just limped the hell out of this throw, and it's intercepted by Kelly Jr. DC couldn't get anything going on offense, but their defense made a goal line stand to force a turnover on downs. Even though they started their drive on the 6-yard line, Teamu finds Ty Scott over the middle to set up you guessed it, a turnover. John Lovett gets a huge chunk play to put the Brahmas in field goal range, but late in the second quarter is when when the DC offense came alive. Thanks to a pair of big runs and this stop from Teamu, Cam Harris with the defenders on the board. To start off the second half, the Brahmas offense couldn't get anything going, but DC's Darius Haggins had himself a day, breaking off another pair of big runs to get them in field goal range once again to give McCarron his first points of the day. Even though I hate to see him pass it when they run, I love it. John Lovett broke off his longest run of the night and scored a touchdown to give them the lead. But the second best kicker in the league, Jake the Great being the first, came out and drilled this 58-yarder to quickly regain the lead for DC. But before you could blink, Santoso ties it for the Brahmas after Lovett carried this team down the field. To say Dormady was bad would be a bit of an understatement, and you could really tell that they missed Garbers under center. Roland almost took this one back to the house, but it was called back because the kicker did just enough to push him out of bounds. Teamu just hangs this one up in the air for Harmon to get popped, but hey, at least he held onto the ball. And on third down, Teamu finds Harmon over the middle to score the dagger touchdown. This game had some implications and could come back to bite the Brahmas, and with the playoffs quickly approaching, losing games to a conference rival is a way to spoil a 4-1 start. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, please hit me with a like, or if you're feeling generous, maybe even a subscribe.
Seems a little overwhelmed by my girth and tonnage, right?
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Jonathan's